Welcome. How are you guys doing today? My name is Mihai Pope. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about some street photography I did the other day with the 35 that I'm currently using to film this video. I went downtown to Atlanta. It was the middle of the day since I work in the evenings. Very bright outside, so I used a ND filter. If you don't know what that is, it's basically like sunglasses for your lens. My settings on the camera were, I normally try to keep it around 125 for the shutter speed. The f-stop was, switched between 8 and 11. Try to find that sweet spot, for if you want to get that big, everything clear, that's probably where you want to be, in between 8 and 11 on the f-stop. Also ideal for landscape as well, if you're doing landscape photography. Now, of course, every lens and camera is a little bit different, so you got to play around and see which ones, which f-stop you're going to have, the clearest image, like everything's clear, Now, of course, if you want, the foreground to be clear and the background to have that bokeh effect, then you go down an f-stop. But I wanted, for the most part, everything to be just clear, everything in focus in the frame. So I just kept it between 8 and 11. Now, my ISO, I try to keep it as low as possible. I went between 100 and sometimes 800. I usually do not try to pass 800 on the Canon EOS RP that I'm using, just because I've noticed the ISO past 800, the photos just become, they get very grainy. They get that grain in them. So the 800 that I was using was in the shade, but I think overall I got some really good photos. I do like sometimes to blow out the background, especially if it's like the sky or something like that. Sometimes I do like to blow it out and just have it completely white, depending on what I'm shooting. I don't know why. It's kind of like, everyone's like, oh, don't do that. Don't blow it out. It's bad. Overexposure. It's bad. Overexposure. It's not that bad, If you kind of like that, do it, And that's my way of looking at it. That's why I do it, because I kind of like it. Sometimes I think that just white background looks good. Now, of course, you can't have too much of it in the frame, but it depends. So I did use my GoPro Hero 5 Black Edition. I mounted on top of the camera for you guys to get like a first-person view type of situation. Now, the thing is, I had the stabilization on, but for some reason, it was, I don't know if it was my walking. I was just walking like boom, boom, boom. Like, I don't know. I was trying to be, like trying to walk nice and like hopefully the stabilization, but you can tell it's, some of the images has a shake in there. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to try to get better and maybe try to like tippy toe, type of walking when I'm doing like a walk in first person view, because I'm going to do more of this using the GoPro from now on, instead of like heel toe, like you normally walk heel toe. I think maybe I'm just too much on the heel, too much pressure, and then that's, even though the stabilization was on the GoPro, it was still, doing a little bit of camera shake. So it's not the best footage. I do apologize, but it gives you guys an idea of at least what I was filming, photographing. Not filming, photographing. And I did add some photos as well through the video. So what I'm going to do is overlay that video on this and do like a voiceover type of situation, so you guys can get an idea. Now, I started off in this building It's like two buildings with like a bridgeway that you can walk. It's like 6 floors up. I had to walk up flights of steps, and it's just like a cool bridge, like round. You'll see it. It's really cool. That was one of my favorite shots. So let's get into it. All right. As you can see here is the bridge I'm talking about. You see it's round, and then I also went over here to take a photo of the steps, but for some reason I forgot to add the photo, I believe. See, there's the photo that I got. No, I did add the photo. As you can see, those steps I thought were pretty cool too. And then I walked down here and got some photos of the buildings and just out there. As you can see, there's some cool buildings. I got that one and that one from those steps from like 6 stories up. And then I, walked over to the street and just started walking around. I got this photo of this dude walking by. I thought the building in the background was cool. That dude running. And then as I was walking, I came across these other photographers just chilling, talking over here. I didn't interrupt them because he was on the phone and they looked like they were busy, but I did get a photo of them. And this building right here with the glass stairs, there's like a little store down there. I thought that was a cool photo with the two ladies walking. You see what I mean of the stabilization? You see it's a little shaky, but I came over here to this little fountain. I thought it was going to be a cool photo with the buildings in the background and that glass right there. And here's the photo. And as I was walking, I came across this old school like London phone booth. I thought that was cool, so I took a couple shots of that. And I turned around, I saw this Porsche over here. I had to get a shot of the Porsche. And then I followed it to the stop, got a couple more shots. And then this hotel I thought had some cool architecture, got a couple shots of that. A little more camera shake, which I apologize. But as you can see, Atlanta's a really cool place to photograph. I saw this building, this dark black building over here. That's one of my favorite shots as well. And as I was walking, I came across this park with this other water fountain that was like went all the way around. So I thought that was a cool shot. And then I came across this like open little area where it's like a bunch of restaurants and like little shops, people just hanging out, chilling. So I took a couple shots over here as well. I probably took overall, I don't know, like 290 shots, and I ended up maybe with like 40, maybe, once I finished editing and all of that good stuff. You see what I meant by the blown out background? And I got a cool shot of the building with the dude walking in front. There's like a little coffee shop. I thought this was going to be a cool shot with that right there. And then at the end, I saw these old school taxi cabs. And I was like, oh, I got to get some shots of that. And I talked to the security guard. I was like, is it cool? He's like, yeah, man. See that camera shake. But he was so nice, he even got out the way. He was like, yeah, go ahead, no problem. And these are some of my favorite shots that I got of that day with the taxi cabs. I don't know why. I don't know, old school stuff like this. And also the reflections where you see part of it inside the car, but it also reflects, from the outside. Like this shot right here, that's one of my favorites. Uh, I think it was pretty cool. But as you can see, they're old. It's got some scrapes. That was it. And then I just added some photos at the end that I got once my GoPro died, unfortunately. But that's Atlanta. You see some of the photos in the background is just a little bit like blown out like that one. See? I kind of like that. And that's the last one right there. All right, and as you can see, some of those photos, like I said, there were like some of the sky just a little bit was showing, but it was completely white, completely blown out. I did that on purpose. Some people like, oh no, don't ever do that. it's up to you. I personally like it, so I did it. But think I got some really cool shots. Like I said, my favorite is that taxi cab reflection where you see part of the steering wheel and like the gear with the little bit of blue on the gear, and then it also reflects like the other taxi cab beside it, which I thought was, that is like one of my top favorite photos I've taken in a while. It's just for me, hey, that was the shot right there. It was worth it to get that shot. And I spent like, I don't know, 3 hours walking around Atlanta. Do some street photography, use a 35. As you can see, you get a nice wide angle of the city. It's pretty versatile. And, you know, those reflections that I did, the taxi cab, I did drop the f-stop all the way down to 2 to get like a kind of like you know, that bokeh as much of a as I could anyway. But it was cool. I had a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying this 35, using it in photography. I've been using the Nifty 50 for so long, and like exclusively the Nifty 50 for, I don't know, a few years now. I believe that it's important for people to like just, you don't have to use like a bunch of different lenses. Like, I'm gonna use I'm gonna go do street photography. I gotta have a, I gotta have a 35 or a 50, or you know, some even go even lower, like a 28, or, you know, or I gotta have an 85, or you know, this or that, or depending on what you don't have to do all that. Yes, some lenses are better than others, of course, but use what you have and practice that, and use one lens for like a month for whatever you're shooting. It doesn't matter. It's more challenging. It gives you a challenge. And it makes you think like, well, you know, composition, all this stuff, like what do I need to do to get this shot? So it's challenging, and I enjoy that. And I would, you know, if I were you guys, hey, I challenge you guys to do the same. At least for like a month. Try it out. Just use one lens exclusively. You know, start off with like a 50, with the Nifty 50, if you have it. If you don't, you know, if all you have is like the kit lens, use that. But like leave it on you know, most kit lenses are like 15 to 45. Put it on 35 and leave it on 35 and shoot like that for a month and see what you're shooting, you know, like what your shooting style is. You're gonna learn real fast when you're forced basically to only use one lens. But like I said anyway, so far I'm enjoying this 35. I'm probably gonna start using this for a while now, and until I get really good at it and I find out all the sweet spots, you know, that this lens has, like the f-stop and all of that, you know, where, you know, if I'm doing landscape or street photography, where does that sweet spot is it, you know, like I said, most of them between 8 and 11, but where is the, you know, where's that perfect sweet spot between 8 and 11? Just go out there and shoot, have fun, enjoy it, because that's what photography is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about enjoying it. Thank you so much. My name is Mihai Pope. If this is your first time on this channel, I would really appreciate a subscribe and a like. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys have an amazing day. Take care of yourselves and go out there and photograph whatever you want. Peace.